It's the Daylight Midnight Show. Hello and welcome. A slightly different look to the show this week. Probably a slightly different feel to the show as well, because we're recording on a phone. I was all set up to go, we had everything ready and in place, and I was looking forward to the fact that I could say to you, I haven't got to apologise for anything this week. I didn't make any mistakes last week, nothing went wrong, I didn't leave my phone somewhere, I don't have to correct any errors, and then lo and behold I noticed that the little monitor over there that I normally look at was displaying me as upside down, and I thought that's going to make it really awkward to work out what's on screen and what isn't, and then it turned out the camera had shut down completely. Don't know if we can get that repaired, but we wanted to go ahead with the show, so we're filming it on a phone and we'll see how we go. And I hope, because I'm always confused with the back of cameras and phones, whether I'm looking at the right spot, but I think the camera is right there. So hello and welcome to the show, which will be slightly different this week, but we'll see how we get on. So let's get on with revealing our snake of the week. Now you might have noticed I did a little bit of sort of pre-show prep and planning because I didn't want to spend the whole time turning around, putting things up on what is now a wall of wonders, I guess we're going to call it. But I did talk about whether we keep the snakes of the week or not, and I thought it would be nice to have them behind me, and you can kind of see my progression as an artist through the world of snakes. So I've put those up there already, and I can now reveal this week's snake of the week, which I'm quite pleased with. I mean, the idea is that you're going to see an improvement every week, but I'm going to adapt that slightly and just try different things, and then hopefully by the end of the series I can put it all together and do a really good drawing of a snake. So this one I've gone for like a full body look. I resisted the earlier temptation I had of doing loads of colouring in or loads of extra bits on it, and just went with a simple snake body. And I think it looks the most like a snake of any of them, maybe. It's not cartoonish, it's not in close-up, you can see the full body, and I think anyone saw that would go, yeah, that's a picture of a snake, whereas that one, I think they'd be thinking draft excluder or overeaten worm or something. So he's going to go on the Door of Delights until the end of next week. I can point out that on our fragile or agile monitor, I'm feeling agile this week. The pills are working well on the back. I feel very loose. I feel on it. Apart from the technology breaking down, I think we're going to have a good show. So let me give you our thought for the day this week. Our thought for the day this week is, am I too old to run for anything? I'm not talking about politically or going into management or something, but I had a situation this week where I was talking to someone about, I'd kind of finished work a bit late and I was going to go and get the train, but I only had 7 minutes to get there, and I thought, I don't want to rush. And they were, just run, you'll get there. And I thought, I'm not going to run for a train. I'd rather sit around, have a cup of tea, take my time and not have to go through it. And I just sat on the train thinking, is there actually anything anymore that I would run for? I'm old, I've had a few injuries, I'm not very enthusiastic about many things anymore. Is there any circumstance I could be in where I would actually run to either get away from something or to get to somewhere? And I couldn't really think of any. So that was that. So weird news from my weird life. Okay, I'm going to do this, the story I've been talking about since the start of the series, to do with forks. And I feel like I might have built it up to be more than it really is. So this could fall flat and be absolutely nothing. But confession is good for the soul. Guilt is a torment that pollutes you from within, and I just feel like I need to get this off my chest and own up to it. It was all very accidental, but it's a true story. So, a number of years ago, I was working at a particular location that I'm not going to reveal, and alongside the work that I did there, it also had a really nice restaurant. You know, really classy, decent food, people came in, and everything in it was really, really nice. Apart from that, we couldn't eat in the restaurant, obviously, because we were scruffy staff members on another part of the location. So we had like a little staff canteen, and it wasn't a canteen where you could go in and buy food, but you could put stuff in it. So we had a fridge, we had a microwave, we had a kettle, we had a sink, and you could go and sit in there with your workmates at lunchtime and enjoy lunch. So what I used to do is I would make myself a pasta salad or have some leftovers from a barbecue, and I would take them in a little container, put them in the fridge, and then go and have it at lunchtime. So every day I would take myself a fork from home to eat the lunch with. And as you might have noticed during this series, I can be quite forgetful. So there would be days where I forgot to take in any cutlery. So what I would do is just nip into the expensive restaurant and grab a fork and take back to our staff room. And normally I would finish my lunch and I would take it back and I would wash it up and I would let the staff have it back. But occasionally, say I've done 6 days in a row where I've taken my own cutlery in. And what do automatically? You put the cutlery in the pot that you've eaten out of and put it back in the car to take home. And what happened on more than one occasion, admittedly, is that I effectively stole, let's say acquired, a fork from this expensive restaurant and took it home and then kind of didn't think to take it back. Now you'd think when it happened once, you would just do it and take it back and that would be it. But it felt wrong for me to take it back on a different day. And then it kind of kept happening. So as a consequence of that, I live on my own. These are how many knives I have. And that's about half the forks that I've got. Most of which should be at an expensive restaurant somewhere in the UK that I'm not going to name. So I kind of feel like it was a few years ago. I don't know if we have a statute of limitations on theft in this country. I'm hoping we do. If I go back, I might take them back now, but I feel like there's no need to confess. I hope nobody got in trouble where they thought they were stealing forks from them because it was me that was doing it. So there you go, that's that story. Another thing that happened this week, another little story from my life, is it's been really, really hot, right? And I come in and my flat's quite warm, so I stripped off. Natural thing to do, right? I then had to walk into town and I somehow forgot, because I was wearing boxer shorts, I forgot that I'd taken my shorts off. So I put on a t-shirt going, that's it, I'm covered, put on my shoes and walked out of the door forgetting I hadn't put my shorts back on. So I was effectively walking down the road in my underwear in a busy town. And I would have thought if you go to the beach and someone's walking along in trunks, it wouldn't be an issue. So would it be an issue, me walking through town in my boxer shorts? But apparently it was. So thank you very much indeed for all the comments I got on that one as I walked about. And thank you so much for not calling the police and letting me go home and put my shorts on. It's going to be a hot weekend. Learn from my mistakes. Now all that waffle is to get me away from what I've got to do next, which is our taste test for this week. If you remember last week, our colander of culinary chance gave me the following 3 ingredients. Frozen peas, and they have to be frozen when I eat them, a wine gum, and fish paste. Why I put fish paste on the list, I don't know, but I've managed to get some. Now, even holding this makes me feel sick. It's salmon paste, and to give you a clue about how unpopular this is, I had to go in 15 different shops to find some of this. I haven't even opened it yet because I think it's going to smell awful. So my preparation is, I've got a bag of wine gums, I have a plate. The frozen peas have to be frozen when I eat them, so I've left them in the freezer for now. So I'm going to get everything else ready. I'll use one of the knives that I've got here. I don't know whether to put this on a spoon. I've got a wooden spoon, so I thought I'd put it all on there. My stomach is churning already, but oh no, now I've taken the packaging off and I can see what it looks like. People actually eat this stuff. Oh, don't. Okay, right. Bear with me a moment while I just nip over here to the freezer and retrieve the frozen peas, which I have pre-decanted, because as I've spoken about on this show before, peas always escape when you try and get out of the freezer. So I've put some of them on this lovely tissue here. So we have, here we go. In order of repulsiveness. I don't even want to open that. Should it look like that? I mean, it didn't say put it in the fridge. All right, I'm going to prepare everything else first. So I'm just going to randomise what the wine gum is. Although actually, if I take one of those ones, that gives me a little bit of purchase to put the paste on. So I think I'm going to put it on there. Now, if I had the other camera, I would tilt it so you could see what I'm doing. But let's put the frozen peas, a nice dozen frozen peas on there. Okay. All I can say is old person sweaty crotch. I can't put that much. Oh, yes, I can. Okay. I just don't know how to do this. So this has been dictated to me that I have to eat a wine gum, some fish paste and frozen peas. It smells awful. I cannot describe to you how horrible this is. I really hope that I'd get like a 50% hit rate with these things, and every other one would be nice. Thank God the wine game came out, because that is helping. So what I'm going to do with this, excuse me going on camera again, which I don't normally do. There's a bin, there's the expensive fish paste that I bought. Okay, I have to swallow it all. The peas have gone. The frozen peas weren't too bad, and in fact on a hot day like this it's quite nice having frozen peas in my mouth. The wine gum hasn't quite gone, but it is getting rid of the taste of that fish paste. I have to swallow it or it doesn't count, but I will do that. while I'm chewing the wine gum, let's decide what I'm going to try next week. So there are 32 separate food items in here. I tip them all into the colander of culinary chance. When I use one, it goes straight back in, as you've noticed, because I had to do crab sticks twice, so there is the possibility that we could have fish. Please, nothing fishy. Just for 1 week, please, nothing fishy. So I'm going to pull out 3 at random, and whatever they are, I have to eat all 3 together next week. So next week, I will be eating mustard, and I did buy some English mustard today. So I will be having mustard with, it takes away my ability to eat ginger. Okay. Very flavoursome, so and that's got to be fresh ginger. I think I remember saying it was going to be fresh ginger, so I'll buy some fresh ginger and crackers. Okay, that's going to be weird, but compared to what I've had to do in the past few weeks, that's going to feel like eating a bowl of the best cereal on earth. So crackers with mustard and fresh ginger on it. That will be what I will be doing as a taste test next week. The wine gum has finally gone. I managed to do it. Please don't ever give me fish paste to eat again. There's probably other stuff I wanted to talk about, but the horror of that has taken away my ability to speak to you properly. I will see you next week. Have a great 7 days.